think that there are 8 different ways that people are intelligent. So we take in the information through our eyes, our ears, through touch, or through movement. And this is sort of how we like to process information. We learn, but we also process it on a deeper level using one or many of these various intelligences. So I'm going to put them on the board, and just so we're all pretty clear, we'll talk a little tiny bit about each one. So the first one is visual spatial. So similar to visual nonverbal learning style. So somebody who has a strength and intelligence in visual spatial, what kind of job do you think they would do? Designer? Architect, yeah. Spatial, how buildings work together. Painter, maybe? Yeah, filmmaker, like my husband, who's got a very good sense of where things are. Yeah. Okay.
Navigator.
Navigator, sure. Geographer, yes. Photographer, yeah. Cameraman, absolutely. Okay, then we go on to linguistics. Probably everybody in this room, mostly, except for the people that are tactile. So linguistic. So English teachers, clearly, somebody with a linguistic intelligence. What else? Writers.
Comedians.
Comedians, that's good. They have to have good wordplay.
Politicians.
Politicians, absolutely. Absolutely.
Lawyers.
Lawyers, yes. Actually, forgive me, I'm going to write these a little bit smaller. I'm going to run out of room. Okay, body kinesthetic. What do you think somebody with a strength and intelligence in body kinesthetic would do? Dancers.
And sportsmen.
Sportsmen. Maybe even to some degree, a little bit of degree. I was going to say doctor, but not really. It's more about movement than knowing it. But somebody that's physical. Okay. Logical. Mathematical. Not me. My math skills are poor, to say the least. But what kind of job do you think somebody would do who has an intelligence in logical and mathematical?
Engineering.
Engineering, yeah. Mathematicians.
Lawyers, probably.
Lawyers, yeah. They have to have a very logical mind.
And speaking.
Detectives, yeah. Logical. Good. Not me.
And doctors, probably.
Yeah, doctors. I think that's a good point too. Yeah, very logical. They can draw conclusions.
Teachers of math.
Teachers of math. Yes. Yeah, that's true. This next one I think is linked. Musical. There's a lot of research between people that are good at math and people who are very musical because of the mathematical component of music. My brother is an aerospace engineer who works at Sikorsky Helicopter, actually. But he's also very musical. He's a trumpet player. So he's very good at math, and he's an excellent trumpet player. So musicians, of course, would be musical. What else? What other jobs do you think people with a strong musical sense might have? Composers.
And language teachers.
Exactly, language teachers. Yeah, we have to be able to hear some of the music of language. And I'm sorry, go ahead.
There is a theory that musicians and
mathematicians and no, not poets. They are related. These specialties are related because of science. And when we study English language, we learn science, new science.
Yeah.
Musicians learn science.
Yes, the
read
science. Yeah.
and mathematicians learn science. So this can be the point where they are related.
Yes, that's good. And you know, when I think about it logical, I think as as teachers, as word people, we have to have some logical intelligence or illogical intelligence, depending on what we're teaching. Maybe English, you have to be illogical because it's a crazy language.
German logical.
German, and even Russian. You know, to some degree. I just spent some time studying Russian and the different cases, all of the languages with the different case systems. There is not everybody believes it, but there is some logic to how those languages work.
Kasa, ili, kasa, ili, kasa.
Yeah, nobody knows.
I'm not sure my husband would agree with the logical there, but you know. And then these are different ways we like to work interpersonal. So interpersonal, that means people who work well with others. So what kind of jobs or professions do you think people who have strong interpersonal skills? Managers?
Salesmen.
Salesmen? Teachers, maybe? Teachers?
Successful teachers.
Successful teachers. And then we have the opposite, which is intrapersonal. Programmers, yes.
Bookkeepers.
Lighthouse keepers. You know, you have lighthouses here. They live at the very top. Often they're alone. In American culture, we think of lighthouse keepers as sort of lonely people on the top of their towers. And it's interesting, you know, I work at the U.S. Embassy, and you'd think that everybody who works in my section, which is public affairs, should have a strong interpersonal intelligence. And actually, many people that I work with are more introverted. They have a more introverted preference, but that doesn't mean they're not good working with other people. So I think that's very important to remember. Even if you're a teacher that has a strength for intrapersonal work, it doesn't mean you can't be good with people. It just may take a little bit more work for rather than those of us like me who tend to be very interpersonal. I like to work with other people. I tend to be quite extroverted. It's easy for me. For the intrapersonal, they can do it. It just may be a little bit harder. Okay, and then the last one, Howard Gardner started with 7, but then he added an 8, which is natural. So people that learn best by interacting with nature. What kind of job do you think somebody who interacts, who learns best, or who is most successful when they interact with nature? Farmers, vets, gardeners, ecologists, biologists, yeah.
Cowboys,
exactly. There are so many these days. In America, not so much. But also, I don't know if you have them. Some sportsmen, absolutely. One of my Russian teachers was a biathlete. So I think she loved to be outside in the outdoors, skiing and shooting her gun. In America, we have these huge national parks. They're just miles and miles and miles. So we have a job called a park ranger, somebody whose job is to travel through the parks and make sure that everything's okay. So that would be a good job for somebody who's natural. All right. So what we're going to do now is we are going to do 2 different activities that might be examples of something you can do in the classroom as teachers. And then we'll do the activity, and then we'll come back together and we'll take a look at what intelligences we touched upon. The first exercise is called the love test. So this is a test that's going to give you some insight, some information about how you view love. So there are 6 questions. Your job will be to read them and answer the questions with your first instinct. So I'll read the first one so you get an idea. So number 1, and you have to remember what it was like before you were married, for those of you that are married. For those of us that were married, cast your mind back a long time ago to when you had a boyfriend or girlfriend. So number 1, you were walking to your boy or girlfriend's house. There are 2 roads to get there. One is a straight path to take you there quickly, but is very boring. The other is significantly longer, but is full of wonderful sights and interesting things. Which one do you take to get to your significant other's house? Short or long?
Short.
Long. So, anyway, your job will be to read through these 6 questions and then choose one of 2 answers. Don't think too long. It's just your first instinct.